to me, there's way more value in having a small, intimate experience. I think that people are more apt to ask questions, to be vulnerable, to be open, to be honest and transparent. And like, you really need to push your ego aside, and you need to be honest with yourself and honest with everyone there. And I think that having a smaller group of maybe 20 to 25 contractors, builders, remodelers is going to create that experience for you. What's up? What's up? What's up? Thanks for joining me today on Midweek Modern Craftsman. It's been a minute. I haven't sat down and recorded one of these. Seems like forever. It's at least been a few weeks, and I wasn't on the standard podcast when we had our Anderson guest. I've had a lot going on, while it feels as if I've had nothing going on at the same time. So I wanted to hop on here, pretty low key podcast, just explain what's been going on, or tell you about what's been going on, what's up with life, what's up with work, what is on the horizon, how summer's going, all that stuff. So nothing too groundbreaking or earth shattering here, but I figured since it's been so long, I need to get my sea legs back. I need to hop on here and figure out how to do this again. All kidding aside, it does seem like it's been forever. I'd gotten a couple of weeks ahead, and then I recorded with Brieux. Also, let me know if you guys like that format. I'd like to have some more one-on-one conversations, again, with some smaller owner-operators, business owners, contractors, just a quick 45-minute, 1-hour conversation, talk to them, see what life is like, just the normal stuff. So if you like that and you enjoyed that, let me know, and I'll get some people scheduled to do a few more of them. Obviously, there's not the accompanying blog post with them, but if you guys aren't getting a ton of value out of them anyway, that's fine. I would be more than welcoming of more guests. So if you like them, or if you have guests that you would like me to sit down and have a conversation with, shoot me an email, tyler@trghomeconcepts.com. Let me know who you want me to get on the podcast, who you want me to speak to, what questions you have. I also haven't polled the audience in a while about any topics that you want me to touch on. I have pretty much an ongoing list on my phone for people who reach out to me, have questions, and I'm working my way through them. If I haven't gotten to your question, it's not that I don't like your question. I probably just haven't gotten to it. So, with all that being said, let me get into today's podcast blog post about what's going on. So it is currently, let's see, my little knob on my watch is broken. See, I just found something else out. I can't even tell what the date is. I'm gonna have to use my phone. It's the 9th of July. So Tilly, our youngest, is going to be 8 on July 14th. She's so pumped for her birthday. We're gonna actually take her to the beach for the weekend. She can have some friends come and sleep over. So she's real jacked up for the beach. She loves her birthday. She's been telling everyone it's her birthday month. She celebrates all month long and makes her sister do stuff all month long, asks for extra treats. It doesn't matter where we go. I went to get gas in upstate New York, and the credit card, for some reason, like at the pump, was having issues. So I went inside to pay, and she's like, "Can I get this toy from inside the gas station?" They had toys. She's like, "Come on, it's my birthday." And I'm like, "Absolutely not. I'm not buying you a toy from the gas station because it's 2 weeks before your birthday. Like, it's not even your birthday." So yeah, she's going to be 8 this weekend. We're going to head to the shore. My dad has a place in Brigantine, so we're going to have some friends down there, cook some good food, hang out on the beach, go swimming. So that should be fun. What else? Last week was, if it's July 9th, that means last week was the 4th of July. We went to my in-laws' place up in upstate New York. It's in a small town called Athens and Gusakov. So we went up there. The girls were actually already up there because the week before that, I had traveled to Cleveland for work. So, Fine Home Building reached out to me, and they were partnering with Loctite, who was partnering with Habitat for Humanity. So they have this house that Habitat for Humanity is working on. Loctite is sponsoring that house. It's called their Second Chance House. Loctite is based out. I believe that it's Henkel, which is a German-owned company, but Loctite's based out of Cleveland or the suburbs of Cleveland. So they partner with Habitat, and they are restoring this basically condemned house in inner city Cleveland. So they asked me to come out there, Fine Home Only did, and shoot some content for their products and for just documenting their renovation of this home. Excuse me, real quickly. So they had me go out. So I was out there the week before that. So I ended up meeting the girls at the lake. So I guess the easiest way, let me start at Cleveland. So I went out. I went out on Sunday night. I got home Friday morning. Um, I'd never been to Cleveland. Interesting city. Like within the city limits, there's a ton of. I think that one guy told me it's called the Green City, but there's like a ton of lawns, a ton of trees. It's it's not like as urban feeling. It doesn't have even their downtown. It's on the water, but it doesn't have like a huge industrial skyline, a really small city, um, but just like so much greenery. There's so many trees and lawns. We worked across from a school, and there was like it was like a school in my town, just grass, trees. It's crazy, but I guess there's a lot of areas and pockets of Cleveland that were once thriving and are no longer thriving. So Habitat is basically there's a couple houses on this block that are essentially condemned. However, they purchase or acquire those homes and they're renovating this. It's an old maybe 1910, 1920s bungalow. They added a second floor and they're converting a second floor. But it reminded me a lot of my old house where we lived in a craftsman bungalow. So just 1,000 square feet. Again, they were converting some of the attic because it was more of a gabled roof line. Um, a lot of it fully gutted. Obviously, a house that's over 100 years old needs a lot of work, needs to be brought up to today's code. So we were doing a bunch of stuff there, helping out the Habitat people. Really cool, neat city. Neat project. It was really cool. I've never been involved with Habitat or anything like that before. So just like us, they struggle getting people in place for these builds, and I think that they have a fair amount of volunteers, but just like the people running the jobs, it's tough to find people with experience and knowledge that can really foot these builds and keep them moving ahead. So it's cool to meet with those people, discuss some of their struggles, walk them through what I do, how I do it, how they can implement some of those things on their builds, and just make their builds, a little bit better than they are now. Or they're not looking to reinvent the wheel. They're not looking to create passive houses, super high end houses. They're trying to create affordable living for families, and just restore some neighborhoods. And I think the goal is to make it a little bit better than what was there, and just bring everyone up. And it was really cool to be a part of that. So when I flew home from Cleveland, it was early Friday morning. I ended up hanging until Saturday afternoon, getting some stuff done, and then I went up to the lake. We spent the week there for July 4th holiday, which was midweek. So I ended up driving Rachel's parents. Her dad had his chemo treatment Friday, so he was struggling to get up there and drive. So I ended up driving them Saturday, and we stayed until Friday. But it was nice. We did a bunch of different stuff. Usually we just kind of hang, but since we were up there for an extended amount of time, my wife had been up there before me, so they were getting a little bored of just sitting around hanging at the lake at the house. So we took some day trips, um, hiked some waterfalls Rachel found, went to some nice coffee shops, a couple of surrounding towns, and just spent the day out, which was cool. I don't love sitting still that much. I mean, it's all right, but I like getting out and exploring and driving up there. Once you get into upstate, into the mountains, we went basically into the Berkshires, so the Massachusetts and New York border. it's really pretty. So just even the drives this time of year, really nice. Just mountains, green hills, a lot of farms. It's a really nice area. So we spent the week up there, and it was nice. It was downtime, but at that point, I'd been away for basically 2 weeks. Um, Getting back, I guess yesterday, the girls started summer camp for the first time this summer, and it's just a day camp. I started my mom's kitchen renovation yesterday, so I was like, we got to get back a little early. So we came home on Friday, and got back to the grind, which my dad used to say when we were little. He's like, back to the get done vacation, got to get back to the grind. Fun party's over. Um, so we got back on Friday and then got settled, got the girls settled, the usual. But being away for 2 weeks, almost 2 weeks, was tough. Like, I couldn't have work stuff going on. I couldn't be in the office to record podcasts. Um, I had my work computer, but I was trying to put as much of that off. While I was in Cleveland, I was working from 8 a.m. till 6. And then we generally had work related dinners to go to. So it was just nonstop. And then when I was away with the family, Rachel was still working from the lake. So I was trying to keep the girls busy, try not to work. So getting back to it, I've been very stressed. There's a lot going on. Tuesdays are my normal office day. And I'm like, I have enough work to do today, which is now, as I'm talking to you, that I have for like 4 Tuesdays. So I figured, again, I'd just hop on and give you guys an idea as to what was going on in my life. So we got back to the grind. Girls wrapped up softball, or what I thought was wrapped up softball, and then my wife's like, "Hey, are you going to be able to take Tilly to tryouts tonight?" And Selby has tryouts tomorrow night. So I thought that we were done softball. Girls had a good year. It's a long year. Ended Father's Day weekend. But we're trying out for summer, I guess fall 2024, 2025 season now. So Tilly's going to play travel, or at least try out for travel. Selby's going to try out for travel. She plays travel the past few years. So it's just trying out for which team she's going to be on. So we're right back to softball. I thought we were done with softball, but it's back on. I don't know about you guys and girls, but the sports seem way more demanding from like a time perspective than when we were younger. Like, I played sports every season. Like, every season I had a sport. But then, like, once that season was over, it wasn't until later down the road where you really committed to one or two sports that you would play more than one season, like year round, or for, like your training and off season, and then you have your season. Even with the kids, like Selby's 10, Tilly's not even 8 yet, and they have like fall ball, winter training, spring softball, summer tournaments. And I'm like, I don't remember at 8 to 10 years old, even travel sports being this demanding and this time consuming, and not even from a financial perspective, because obviously it gets expensive, but just like how much time it takes. And it's not like, if it was just softball season or just softball and then they train some in winter for like a month or two, that'd be one thing, but it's literally all year long. So like, if you're playing multiple sports all year long. Like, it's almost no in season, out of season. It's all the same thing. And I guess it's a money grab for towns and programs, but it's a lot. I don't recall it being this intense when we were younger. I'm all for giving the kids an outlet to get out and do what they want to do when they want to do it. But it's like, if you want to play on the travel team, you have to do fall ball, you have to do winter ball. It's almost required. Which the kids just get tired. I mean, the parents are tired, but the kids are tired too at 10 years old. Again, if it's your only sport, that's one thing. But when you have multiple things going on, it winds up being a lot. I'd be curious to hear if you guys the same way where you are. I'm sure it is, but it was not like that when we were younger. one sport per season. And then as you got older, it's like, all right, I'm going to play one or two sports, and I'll kind of play these year round, or we'll have little intervals year round where we'll play the sport, but there was in season and out of season. um, Podcast. So Nick and I have a bunch of stuff on the radar for the podcast, which is really excited. This has been a few months in the making. We're not quite there yet. We're still developing a bunch of stuff. But keep your eyes and ears peeled. You are, if we've connected, if you follow the podcast, we are going to start sending out some emails enlightening you guys and girls about what we have going on, what's going to be coming out this fall, this winter, and what we hope to continue with. So if you see those emails, it's just Nick and I touching base, kind of testing the waters, seeing the overall reception of what we are looking to do. So if you see an email coming from the Modern Craftsman, that's Nick and myself. Give it a read. We're going to send them out for a little bit, just to see where everything stands with that, and start again enlightening you as to what's going on. I'm not going to drop the ball. I'm not going to drop the news here yet. You're going to have to wait and see once these emails start coming out. But if you haven't seen them yet, they're going to be hitting very shortly, and we're excited to see what you think of what we're doing. But I think the goal is to take, a lot of what Nick and myself have learned over the years that we've doing this, not just with ourselves, but with the conversations with other contractors and businesses, professionals, and help our listeners become better business owners and better people. There's a lot of things that we screwed up. There's a lot of things that we did wrong, still do wrong. And we want to be able to help you avoid a lot of those pitfalls or struggles that we went through. And there's a lot of systems that we put in place. Nick is a larger company than myself, but so you'll have my perspective and Nick's perspective about what we do, how we do it differently, what we do to ensure profitability, landing the jobs that we want, marketing ourselves, all that stuff that's going to be really, really useful to you and your business, and maintaining success while you're in business, or achieving some success while you're in business, financial from a time perspective, emotionally, all of those things. I think that they all play a part in it, but getting you and your business to a point where you don't feel enslaved to it is really important for us. And we have a fair amount of perspective and years between us learning those lessons. So I'm hoping that we can help you all out there, but keep an eye out for those emails. I'm still doing the consulting calls. I have 3 this week. That's more than I normally do. But being that I was away, I didn't schedule any for last week. So I'm catching up, trying to get to people. I just got another one scheduled for next week. I'm doing them again. Usually it's like 1 or 2 per week. I try not to book them out too far in advance, but if you want to hop on a consulting call and discuss your business, my business, what I make, how I make money, what I do to market myself, what my customer base looks like, how I ensure profitability and guarantee that I'm making money on projects, which I did not do for probably the first 10 years in business. What I've learned to do for myself. For me, it's more for small business. Like my sweet spot is the small companies, less than 10 employees, it could be less than 5 employees, but there's certain aspects and certain constraints of having a small business like that you need to ensure, or you need to put in place to ensure that you're making money for yourself and for your family, and that we're entitled to that money, and we're entitled to make a decent living in this career, in the path that we've chosen. And there's no reason why, regardless of where you are, who you are, how many people you have working for you, that you can't make a healthy living and guarantee that every project you walk on, you're going to be making at the bare minimum your rate. And there's a lot that goes into that, and it's work on your end, but just having some accountability and learning about what I do, I think is helpful for a lot of small business owners. So if you're interested in that, shoot me an email, Tyler at trghomeconcepts.com, and I can let you know what I charge, what that looks like, what we can cover, how long the calls are, all that stuff. Again, first come, first serve. I'm booking usually one or two per week, and try not to book out more than 2 weeks or so in advance, just so I can keep my schedule open. What else? Oh, so those calls, honestly, they've been super informative for me as well, because I'm learning so much as I talk to people about commonalities and trends within our businesses, right? I'm speaking to small business owners. I spoke to somebody today who has himself, wife helps him part-time, and then has anywhere from 3 to 5 employees, part-time, full-time. Um, and I speak to people who just work by themselves and that's all they ever want to do. And there's just so many issues and problems that I see, and the more people I speak to, I realize that it's very common, and there's trends within the industry, and a lot of them are stemming from the same problems. And um, it's been really, really good for me to speak to these people and see how many people are dealing with the same type of struggles and the same type of issues. And like, from a content perspective, or from a teaching or a learning perspective, the more people I speak to, the better and more aware I am of what's going on and where the problems are and how we can address them and how we can change them and how this works, independent of what market you're in. So it's been really informative. And the more conversations I have, the more knowledge that I'm really securing and obtaining with regard to so many different people in so many different areas of the country and different size companies and different types of work. And I've been able to kind of piece together a lot of this puzzle that's a bigger puzzle within the industry, as to how you can help yourself, as you can help your business, you can help your company. And I've really enjoyed it. I've definitely gotten more comfortable, again, like more confident in what needs to change and just being like blunt and obviously polite, but like, hey, at the end of the day, these are the issues. And if this doesn't change, it's going to be tough to sustain a business like this. And I'm able to see that a lot clearer now doing more of these calls and just having the confidence to have that conversation with somebody and push ego aside and be open and vulnerable. And the more that I do, the easier that is, and I think the more constructive and helpful that is for myself and for anyone who wants to really dive into the inner workings of their company, a small building remodeling company, and why we struggle so hard at times and why we don't have to. So even for what Nick and I are doing and what we're looking to pump out here shortly, like all of this information is so useful to me and so powerful and so important. And I'm really grateful for all the opportunity. Everyone who calls and makes a phone call with me, it's a really great conversation, and interaction. I'm expanding my network and learning more about people and their businesses in different areas of the country. But really, I'm learning so much more about where the struggles are, why we're struggling, and why it's so common within our industry. Um, and it really is independent. Like when you're in this size, the 1 to 10 man company, why it happens, and how we need to prevent that, and what simple systems we can put in place to understand, like, yeah, this job will work or this job won't work, or this market can support this or this market is going to have a tough time supporting this, and how we can ensure that we're making money and we're treating our employees fairly and everything else. So yeah, it's been really, really eye opening as far as reassuring my systems, that they work for people other than myself, and that for what Nick and I are doing, it's backed and proven systems for people other than ourselves. So I'm excited about that. What else? Oh, this is good news. So not everyone, people are asking, "Hey, what's going on with your property?" I get that a fair amount. We purchased 6 acres down the street from us last year. There were deciduous. There still are deciduous wetlands on the property, so it's 6 acres. The front two is cleared, higher elevation, not wetlands. There's a creek, like standard wetlands, to the side of the property. And then the back four that we own is all deciduous wetlands. Behind that's like another 40 of privately owned deciduous wetlands. Our neighbors to the right, kids the same age as us, they have basically a parcel the same as ours. They have their house next to us, and then they have farm field behind them. To the other side of us, it's a pie shaped lot that's ponds and a creek, so that's undevelopable. And then the further side of that is the guy we bought the property from, who has, I think, like another 6 acres. So 6 for ponds, another 6 acres that his house is on. That winds up being half in another town, but that can't be developed any further than it is. So it's a really private lot. It's on our main road, 2 lots down from where we are now, but there's deciduous wetlands on the property. So when we bought it, if you don't get a wetlands waiver, it's a 300-foot buffer. So that basically makes the lot unbuildable. Excuse me. So we had to get a waiver. So we got an ecologist out there, did soil borings, did a perk test, got the site surveyed, submitted everything to the DEP to get a waiver for the wetlands. They took a year, but they granted us the waiver to the wetlands. So now it's a 50-foot buffer, which now makes the lot able to be developed or developable. So we just heard news of that recently now. So it's 100% confirmed. We can build on the lot. We know the limit of disturbance. We know the wetlands delineation. So now that we're 100% on that, which we got some good news, there was a driveway to the one side of the lot, which was always there. It's just a construction. It's got some rock. It's not really even a construction entrance, but it's where they access the site. For however long the guy owned it, 40 years before we bought it. And we thought we weren't going to be able to use that. So it's bermed completely at the street for privacy, like a 10-foot berm with trees on it. And we thought we weren't going to be able to use that driveway, and we were going to have to cut a new one through the center of the lot, which would have eaten up some of our privacy. But we thought it was going to be within the wetlands buffer, but it's just a standard typical wetlands. It's a creek, so there's actual no buffer on that side of the lot, so we can keep the driveway quotes where it is, and that's really going to open up our opportunities for where we place the house and the shop and all that. So the next is to kind of finalize that house design, which we are in the works with right now. Finalize that house design, where we want the driveway, where we want like our yard, the house, the shop, kind of the flow of the property. We have an idea of where septic has to go, and then we will submit all that to the engineer and be able to get a grading plan, submit for zoning, all of that, and then finalize our construction drawings and submit for building permits. So yeah, that's exciting news. We are obviously excited. That was a long time coming. They said it would take about 3 months, took about 12 months. DP kind of does what they want, but what are you going to do? So yeah, that's exciting. What else? There's so much going on. I feel like I haven't spoken to you all in forever. By now, you should have probably all heard that I am joining Contractor Coalition Summit with Morgan from Construction to Style, Nick from NS Builders, and Brad from AFT Construction. I went out to the event in Minneapolis, and they wanted me to be a part of this event and future events. I was like, we agreed, let me come out, see what it's about. So I obviously went out. It was a really great experience. It was really great to meet everyone. Super inspiring. and definitely something that I wanted to be a part of more. So when we got back, we had a follow up, and they're like, "Yeah, let's bring you on board." So yeah, I'm on board officially, teaching, being a part of this Contractor Coalition Summit. The next one is September 27th through the 30th. I'm going to post a link in the blog post if you want to see. If you have questions about it, you can reach out to me. If I can't answer your questions, I'll put you in touch with the powers higher up than myself, which I feel like is most everyone. But a really great event. It's not an inexpensive event. It's a very exclusive event. It's first come, first serve. It's very limited availability. Probably heard me speak about this before, but there's just, to me, there's way more value in having a small, intimate experience. I think that people are more apt to ask questions. People are more apt to be vulnerable, to be open, to be honest and transparent. And when you're paying this type of money to invest in your company, like, you really need to, again, push your ego aside, and you need to be honest with yourself and honest with everyone there. And I think that having a smaller group of maybe 20 to 25 contractors, builders, remodelers, designers, whoever it may be, is going to create that experience for you. So it's going to be so much more valuable and powerful than having 500 people in a room, where it just doesn't feel personal to me. We're speaking to a crowd. It's not as interactive. You're just trying to trudge through everything and get all the information out there. You can't meet everyone. You don't want to speak up in front of everyone. It's just it's more overwhelming. So the idea behind these events is really to create like a mini getaway. Like, it's a vacation of sorts, but it is based around work and business, but it's not like a business trip where it's like, oh, I'm going to go to this seminar, I'm going to this training. Like, they're in nice hotels. We go out to nice dinners. There's so much fun stuff to do. There's a social aspect to it, and there's also the educational aspect to it. So it's really, really high end. It's well done. There's a ton of value, and everyone that I spoke with, because I wanted to follow up with people afterwards, I was like, what was your experience? What would you have changed? Do you feel that you've recouped the investment? And everyone who I've spoken with was like, absolutely. Obviously, I was unsure of what would come of this, how I would recoup the investment, what that looked like from a financial return. And after being at the events, and it could be a matter of implementing one tool, one technique, one spreadsheet, utilizing one connection relationship vendor that's there, learning from somebody who presents on your insurance for your company. Like, there are a multitude of ways to not only make back the cost of the event, but many, 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 many times over. If you are not recouping that expense, you are not doing the right things. Again, the people that it puts you in touch with, the knowledge that you gain, the conversations that you have, obviously, um, the stay, the meals, the hotel, all of that goes without saying. But the amount of information that you're going to leave with, the tools, the techniques, the network, the vendors that are there for you to create these relationships with, to partner with, honestly, the cost winds up being a drop in the hat with what you can make from that. So if you're interested, check it out. I will definitely be at the next one in Boston. I'm excited. I'm excited to meet all of you guys and girls. And again, it's the same thing. Like, these events are really just reaffirming the same thing that the consulting calls are doing. It's the same thing as me working with my tool belt on. I'm just learning the conversations on the podcast. I'm just learning so much about this industry, and the commonalities and the trends, and a lot of um the issues within the industry. And obviously there's good in the industry as well, but a lot of the the struggles that we face are not independent. They're not only you. They're not only me. They are definitely shared between most of our peers, and I think figuring out how we combat them and just building as much knowledge and education around all of these things is only going to further better and enhance the industry. So that's been really exciting for me and really gratifying for me, really intriguing for me, interesting for me, and something that I've taken a lot of passion in lately. Just helping people better themselves and better their business and really value who they are and what they do has been really great and really rewarding, and I really appreciate it, and I'm excited about it, and I love getting an opportunity to speak with all of you about that. So if you have any questions for me specifically, reach out to Tyler at trghomeconcepts.com. I appreciate all you guys and girls listening. I had some people ask me a question on Facebook last week, and I messaged them back, and they're like, "Hey, can I like send you some money for your time?" I was like, "No, I don't want money for my time." Um, Answering your like technical question about waterproofing details, like go on and spread the word about the podcast, spread the word about what Nick and I are doing, spread the word about the Contractor Coalition Summit. I'm not asking, if I take some time to answer a question of yours via DM or via email. I'm not looking for a financial compensation with that regard as much as like, hey, help us give back to what we're doing and the bigger picture and the bigger community. So spread the word about what we're doing. If you like a podcast, share it. Doesn't have to be just on social. It could be to friends, peers, whatever it may be, but just help spread the word about what's going on and check your emails from Nick and myself. All right, guys and girls, I will catch you next week. It's good to catch back up with you. I hope everyone is enjoying their summer, getting a little bit of downtime, enjoying the kids. It's going fast. I can't believe it's like the middle of summer and Tilly's going to be 8 in 5 days. And it's crazy. But I hope you guys are enjoying it. All right. I'll catch you next week.